I do have a fun one today. These are always a class favorite. Everyone loves Mustangs. So we have a 2022 Mach 1 with the handling package. I guess it's been almost a month, I think, since I bought this car. I'll turn it around here, and it's in great color, grabber blue. And like I said, it does have the handling package, which basically, for those of you who don't know, I mean, it gives you this ultra low splitter that you're sure to bang on everything on the ground. You get bigger wheels, front and rear. I want to say it's like 20 by 11 in the rear, 20 by 10 maybe in the front on this. But it's 305 tires in the front, 315 in the rear, and these come with Michelin Cup 2 tires. They're basically almost like racing slicks for the street. Honestly, they're terrible tires for. I now understand why I say they're terrible tires for street driving. I can't speak to track driving, but I never understood why guys bought these handling package cars and then put the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s on the 4S's on these. Now I get it. The trim lining, with a pull. I mean, it basically pulls the car if there's any imperfections in the road. This it's almost dangerously pulling you all over the road. So I probably won't keep it very long. So I'm not going to spend $2,000 to change out tires unless it becomes a keeper. But I get why people are changing the tires out as soon as they get them on these. So if you're going to use it for track use, primarily they're probably the greatest tire. But so anyways, you get the wheels. The splitter. You get this, because the tires stick out some. They give you this molding on the front. A lot of people who buy these never end up with the molding because it's shipped to the parts department of the dealer separately. And then you do get the rear wing that's different than the standard Mach 1 with the gurney flap, which is just this little piece. I'm pretty sure that's a GT500 wing, the standard GT500. I look at this car as it's kind of a GT500 with a 5 liter enhanced V8. It does have the Bullet motor in it, which is slightly more horsepower. It was actually detuned for 2022. It's 470 horsepower. It was 480 last year, thanks to our friends in California. They had some. I think what I've read is they had to change the mass airflow sensor location and put an additional filter in the intake, which is where the 10 horsepower went. But realistically, 480 or 470, nobody's gonna be able to tell the difference between those two. The handling package also gets a slightly different, I think it's a rear sway bar that's maybe hollow or solid versus hollow in the standard Mach 1. And then it has some different tuning for the MagnaRide electric dampeners. It handles well. It's a cool car. I've wanted one of these for a long time. Like anything, because of the Cup 2 tires, they don't build these until basically the summertime. Because they can't be driven in the cold. So anyways, you can't find them. And then this year you had the enormous dealer, $5,000 to $10,000 markups on the handling package cars. And I had to go out of the city to find this car, actually to an old friend of mine who actually was working in Columbus, at a Ford dealer there, and they're willing to sell it at MSRP, which I'm grateful for. It's also a Tremec 6-speed car with the standard seats. This car was actually ordered. Someone specifically special ordered this, and they did it the right way. A lot of people, a lot of times when the dealers order these, they load these cars up with just about everything you can hang on them, and they can easily get to 70 grand quick. This one, it was an individual. He obviously ordered it the right way, put the 6-speed, and he didn't go crazy. He didn't do the Recaros. With the Recaros, you lose the heating and the cooling and the memory. I think the standard seats are fine. Honestly, they're more comfortable. So anyways, it does have a Tremec 6-speed, which is different than the other Mustangs, which makes the Mach 1 kind of unique, other than the GT350, which had the same transmission, which is no longer produced. The standard Mustangs, you know, GTs have a MT82, which, in all fairness to them, I probably had 15 cars with that transmission over the years. I've never had a single issue with it. I may have had one Boss 302 that had the lockout second gear, but in all fairness, I don't drive cars that aggressively to where that stuff is an issue. I know a lot of people online have had massive issues with the M282. It's generally regarded as a crap transmission. And I do agree that the Tremec is the much better transmission. I mean, it's very notchy, and has a much more solid feel to it. So, and it kind of makes the Mach 1 a unique car, because it's the only 5-liter version that actually has the Tremec. So the rest of the Mach 1's pretty standard. I mean, you get the 401A basically with the really cool digital cluster. This car is mostly stock. You do get, I do like the ambient lighting, makes you feel like you're driving in a disco. Yeah, the only thing I've done to this car is, with me, I love sound. So I did modify the exhaust, of course, which you'll hear on the sound video, or you will have heard on the sound video. I put the Ford, my favorite for these generation, Mustang, is the Ford Performance has a side exhaust system, similar to the Boss, to where you can basically put side pipes, which I'll show you, and then it's an X pipe. You basically cut out the suitcase resonator, you put a Ford Performance X pipe that has side pipes coming off the side of it, just like the Boss 302. Difference is the Boss has a H pipe, this has an X pipe. It's a little more raspier sound that you'll hear, but it sounds good. It's the best, in my opinion. It's the best sounding exhaust that you can get for this generation of Mustang. There'll be people that'll debate that, and that's fine. It's all personal preference. But I've had several different systems. It's my favorite. It burbles and pops, and realistically, atomically, right, and atomically, I mean, the exhaust is right where your ears are. So, you hear it, as you're going down the road, which, not that you don't hear it in the back, but it's just right there behind your ears. I don't think what else. Like I said, I love the Grabber Blue. I tried Ford actually did some cool colors for 22. They've got a purple, they've got kind of a neon yellow kind of color. They got the Grabber Blue, and then of course the Eruption Green, which is kind of a throwback to the 90s dark green. Which is funny, because I mean, if you get the purple and the green, it's like, even if it's a standard GT, it's like, there's so few of them that, there's a lot of fanfare about them. But I don't know if I'd pay extra markup for that color. So anyways, you get a nice decal that'll be a pain to keep clean and defect free, but it looks cool. That's kind of that's kind of been the latest toy. Like I said, I look at this as it's sort of like having a substitute GT500 until you can have a GT500, because it's got a lot of the look of that car with the big wheels. I do think those are the best looking Mustang wheels that exist. They're special to the handling package. It does have the large tip exhaust on the Mach 1, large tip, big tips on the exhaust, similar to the GT500, and it sounds good. And they don't, you can find these a lot easier than the GT500, and the cost, though a lot more money than they would have been 2 years ago for, when the bullets were out. They're still reasonable compared to some of the other stuff that's out there. So